again, how are you all? If you are new around here, then hi, nice to meet you, and if you're returning, thank you very much for coming back. This is going to be a little bit of like a chatty get ready with me. Yep, as I've said before, get your cuppa ready. Yes, there's a chip in my cup. Yes, it looks disgusting, but it's kind of one of my favourite mugs. I'm not getting rid of it. Get yourself a cuppa, get yourself something to sit and snack on, whatever you want to do. It probably will be lengthy. If you've been watching my videos for any time now, you'll probably know I quite like a lengthy video. I'm sorry. Now normally I would do things natural light and all that kind of thing, but believe it or not, even though we're in August, it is fucking so grey. Oh, that's right too, I also swear quite a lot. Sorry, I do. It's not that I do it in a bad way, it's just because I'm kind of Scottish, and if you go kind of Scottish, I am fucking Scottish. And it just comes as like a nature to swear in your sentences, sorry. What I was going to say was though, I do have my light box on today for two reasons. One, because this guy is il figure, and two, because I am going to be using a new makeup, not a new makeup palette, but I'm going to be using a makeup palette. And I'd like you to be able to see the colours and stuff on my eyes. What I will do though when I'm using the foundation that I'm going to try out today is I will switch this off and let you see in natural light too, because that only seems fair, because using a box light always makes your skin look so much nicer. Just want to keep it real. Anyway, so it's going to be a little bit of a chatty get ready with me, a little bit of a first impressions as well, but not everything is new because I'm not that rich, not that busy to buy everything brand new, everything. But I have been feeling a bit spendy. I did put up a video about what I'd all bought in July / start of August. If you want to go and see that, it'll be up here. But I have been feeling a bit spendy. I wasn't spendy at all at the start of lockdown, and then boom, last month I just was like, whoa! And I really don't have the money to be doing that with, but I decided I would treat myself. So anyway, this is going to be a kind of get ready with me / kind of thing, have a cup of tea, have a chat. I think we're going to have a chat about YouTube. I had a little bit of a chat about that in my last get ready with me, but I just wanted to have a chat because I just watched Jen Loves Reviews live stream, and she was talking about kind of who are the big ones or the big gurus, and who's fell and who's went into different positions, and talking a lot about Social Blade and all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to be honest, love Jen Loves Reviews, but can't be arsed with all that shit. But I thought we'd have a little chat about it. If you seem like you quite like that kind of thing, we'll talk about skincare and all that kind of shit too. No doubt, we'll talk about the makeup. We will do that too, but if you think you'd be into that, then just keep watching. Alright, to start off, I'm going to just tell you that I picked up the Urban Decay On The Run palette. Not new, not you whatsoever, but new to me. When this was first launched, I remember at the time thinking, that looks like something I want to play with. The colour story, hold on, I'll open it and show it to you. The colour story is right up my street. Like, there's blues, there's greens, there's pinks, there's purples, there's orange, there's neutrals. It's right up my street. Everything about it, I'm like, that is a colour palette I want. The only thing I think is missing is probably a yellow. I quite like a yellow eye every now and again, but the colour story is very similar to that of the Vice palette that I used to adore and love. It's a really, oh wait, I'll get it and just show you, to be seen. Now I can't remember if this was Vice 2 or 3, I really can't, but the colour story in this, and the mirror was great, look. But the colour story in this is kind of similar. There is a few that either have hit pan on or they've just absolutely fell out because it's a really old palette. But that kind of dual toned / neutral / wearable bits of green stuff, that is right up my street, and this reminded me of that palette. I've always loved Urban Decay shadows, or Urban Decay makeup, to be honest with you. For me, it's very nostalgic, Urban Decay. I remember being kind of 15, 16, 17 and getting, you know, my weekly allowance not allowance, that sounds very fucking American, but getting my money every week, and you know, let's just say for instance I got, you know, £25 a week, or even £30 a week if I was lucky. It was not from my mum and dad, like, you know, a wage, whatever it was I was doing at the time, I'm not getting into that, but I would spend at least like 10 quid on an eyeshadow from Urban Decay, and it takes me back to that time when I first started watching YouTube as well. Urban Decay were massive, they were one of the big kind of alternative brands, and I was a very alternative scene kind of person, not a scene kid. I wasn't like one of these emo kids, that wasn't me. I was much more, I would say goth. I was much more goth, rock chick, kind of grunge, like that kind of thing. But I loved bright eyeshadows, and Urban Decay were one of the only ones that were really doing it, and at the time they were in Boots. I know they've only just kind of recently came back to Boots, but for a long time they were always in Boots, and then they kind of left for a while and came back. And I just loved what they were all about. They've kind of got a little bit sell out now, I suppose. This is even before the Naked palette came out, and I did get the original Naked palette. I remember totally buying into that when it came out on YouTube, but I saw it was on sale. I saw it was on sale for either half price or 30% off, and I thought, yes, yes please, taking this, remind me of my youth. So we're gonna play with this today. Oh look, you almost see my double chin there. We're gonna play with this today and see how we get on. So let's just start off with a little bit of primer. I'm just gonna put my headband in my fringe, pull it back a little bit, because I bet it'll make my fringe all funny. Oh well. I'm going to start off with the Kiehl's today because it's almost finished. I'm having to pull a little stick out to get it, but also probably going to do a bit of bronzing. So I thought, why not go with the bronze primary type thing? Let's do it. Yes, anyway, so I just watched Jen Loves Reviews live stream, and she was talking about how, I would say they were talking more about how they feel like skincare influencers are coming up a lot more than beauty influencers now. There's a lot of kind of dubiety around about that as well, like should you listen to a skincare influencer, a skincare expert, etc. And the truth is, I kind of alluded to this in my last video with regards to skincare by Hiram. I think the guy is super cute. Like, I think the guy is really nice. He's nice to watch. I didn't subscribe to him for nothing, obviously. I enjoyed his videos, I enjoyed his content, and I quite enjoyed the information he was giving me. In the same breath though, I felt a little bit like it was starting to get a bit like he was looking down his nose a little bit at you if you wanted to use fragrance. I feel like Dr. Dre's a little bit like that too, and I really like her, and she's very dry. Like, I think she's very, she can be problematic as well in some areas. I'm not going to get into that. That's her personal life. That's a completely different thing, and it's not why I watch her. Just going to be honest. Excuse me. But I feel like people who are really anti-fragrance, all natural, or you should only do this, you should, I don't like it when people are like all or nothing. I feel like, I've said this loads of times before, there has to be differences in people's opinions, and even in an opinion on one topic, like I can have opinion about one subject, but not, like there's so many different issues that can be involved in one subject, and I might not agree about the, it's difficult to do it without having a, let's use fragrance, right? That would be the easiest way to do this. Let's use that, because I don't want to use something overly political. This, by the way, comes in 4 colours, one of which is dark. Like, kind of let me down a little bit when I checked it. They have 4 colours, and there's like a light, a medium, I don't even know if it's called dark, and then a proper dark, like for someone who has proper person of colour or black skin. But they're a little bit sad. You'd think they'd at least do 50-50, right? It is quite perfumed. Get back on it fragrance in a minute. The reason I picked this up was because I seen Michaela McDade talking about it, and it really bothered my nose, and I wanted to give it a bash, so here we are. Anyway, so yeah, talking about fragrance, which this is really, really fragranced, I have to say. It is cooling on the skin, isn't it? Sorry, Michaela always puts it on and she's like, it feels refreshing to put on your skin. It's like one of these kind of, what do you call them? Hybrid things, like it's skincare and a skin tint as well. So yeah, it's really quite fragranced, I'm not gonna lie. And a lot of people will be like, oh god, you shouldn't use fragrance. And I think Dr. Dre has made it quite clear, like, here are the risks with you using fragrance and why you shouldn't use fragrance. I just want to inform you why it is, and really it's up to you. But equally, she does make it a bit like, well, if you want to be a fucking idiot and use fragrance, you crack on then. And I'm a bit like, I don't need you to make me feel that way. But she's very dry, and that's just the way she is. And I feel like Hiram can be a bit like that too at times. Like, whereas I feel like if I'm watching someone like maybe James Welsh or something, he stays a little bit more on the fence. Like, you know, here's the facts, here's this, here's that, but it's really up to you to choose at the end of the day. I think that he comes across a little bit more, I'm going to weigh it up. I'm not going to just say to you, don't do this. I don't think there's anything wrong with the people who are saying don't do this. I personally just find it a little bit off-putting. Like, I don't like being told, like, you are absolutely wrong because you think this. I don't like it at all, because I think there's different reasons why people think different ways, and I think that we're allowed to have slightly different opinions on things and allowed to say, well, I like this in one thing but I don't like it in another. Like, if we weren't human, then we wouldn't have difference in opinions. Obviously you can have really strong opinions about something as well and stand by them, but I would rather speak to someone and learn about why they have those opinions rather than just be like, oh well, you're a fucking idiot then for having them. Does that make sense? Like, I would rather talk to them and say, well, why do you think that? And if I felt, well, actually, did you know this and did you know that, and tried to educate them on why my views were different, if they still weren't going to change their mind, then I'm not going to waste my time arguing with them about it. Like, I'm not going to make them feel stupid for feeling it. Maybe that makes me a little cowardly. Maybe people would say, oh well, you don't really stand up for what you believe in. No, I do, but I'm also not going to waste my time. My time is precious and I can't be bothered having those arguments with people. So when it comes to the fragrance argument, I just felt like when I was watching Hiram's skincare, by the way, I'm pushing all this into my skin and it's really pretty much in there already. It went on a little streaky. Wait there, can I turn this down a little? Okay, so it went on a little streaky, but actually it's soaked in really, really nicely. And it's a little bit more mattifying than I would normally wear, if I'm honest with you. But this is a first impressions. I can't say for definite at the moment. I will have to give it another go at another time. Let me just show you natural light as well. Alright, so this is it in natural light. Just right outside my window so you can see. Is it focused? Probably not. But this is it in natural light. Not massively full coverage. You can still see my little acne scar pigmentation there. But not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, yeah, so first impressions, I'm like, it's okay. I am still kind of glowy, dewy, but not as much as I normally would like. But I will keep you in the loop about how I feel about this. It's okay, not wowed. I just feel like it's a little, it feels like a more matte. It doesn't feel like a tinted moisturiser, it feels more like a foundation, which generally is something I'm not into. So we'll give it a go, we'll see how we go. I'll let you know about wear time, because I'm sure Michaela says as well that because your natural oils come through the day, that actually it gets even more kind of dewy and natural looking. So I'll let you know. Yeah, so where was I there? Yeah, so I was watching Jen Loves Reviews live stream and she was talking about the kind of skincare gurus, whatever you want to call them, and the older beauty gurus that have kind of slipped off the radar now. She actually was saying how she feels like James Charles is moving into a more TikTok based fan base, which I would probably agree with. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't really follow James Charles and I don't really have I don't have TikTok. Not that I don't really have TikTok, I just don't have it. And I'm not one of these snobs that's like, oh, TikTok, I'm too fancy for that. I'm not, I just don't have it. It's just never been something that really appealed to me and I just have never bothered. I've got people in work who've got it and they really, really like it. They think it's really funny. Maybe in a year's time, it's kind of what I've done with Instagram. I got Instagram and I really didn't like it and it took me a good couple of years before I properly started using it, and now I love it and I wouldn't get rid of it. So maybe my mind will change. But she was talking about how, like, she was talking about Social Blade, she was talking about all these kind of numbers and who's got what and who's got who subscribed to them and all that kind of thing. That is not doing very much for that. And I was like, who really cares? That's not a slight on Jen from Jen Loves Reviews. I think she's really, really good and I think she is very all-encompassing, as in she doesn't really take sides, she's just honest, she just says what it is, and I think that's really good and that's one of the reasons I really enjoy watching her. But I watched that live stream and I kind of thought, is this not exactly what we're trying to move away from? Like, people who have really big followings and people who are watching the Social Blades and being like, oh, there's this many views and 3 million views a month, and I'm like, who cares? Like, I'm watching it and if I enjoy it, then that's why I'll watch them. And I know she did say that as well, like, I'm not denying it. She says that she watches lots of people from lots of different numbers and platforms and things like that, and that's fine. That's gonna have to do. Okay, so I'm just putting, this is just like a kind of, it's an eye pot type thing that I got over in Bratislava, and it's just like a really sheer, shiny but shadow should stick to it type of thing. I don't know if you can see that. What I was saying there about kind of these big YouTubers, etc. Like, I'm just not a big follower of really big YouTubers, and the odd few that I do follow who are a little bit larger. I'm not being like, oh, I'm the cool kid. You know when people at school would be like, let's say at school and you were like, oh, I quite like Nirvana, and people would be like, oh, Nirvana, but do you like the Pixies? And I'd be like, fuck off. Like, yeah, I do like the Pixies, but when they thought they were cooler than you because they like somebody even more alternative. Like, I'm not that guy. I'll watch anybody on YouTube if I enjoy watching their content. As I said, there was a few people that I've discovered recently who I've really been enjoying. One of them has been Teresa Is Dead and Audra at Home. Both fucking hilariously fantastic. And actually, I'd seen that James Welsh done a like collab with her, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. That's so fucking great to see. So I'm just gonna go in with some really basic bitch colour over the top here because I just want a base type thing, and then I'll see where I go from there. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm gonna lean back a little bit because I feel like I'm right in your face. So basically, like, I like watching people like that. I don't really want to watch the people who are drama llamas. I feel like there's a crowd of people who are maybe early to mid 20s now, and the reason I don't jibe with them at all is just simply because it's a time in my life that has passed. It's not an area of my life that I'm that bothered about. I'm not into TikTok. I'm not into like big parties and I don't know, the latest Gucci belt or whatever. Like, it's just not an area I've ever been bothered with. I was brought up, like, my dad would always be like, be different from people. Don't be the same as people. And like, don't get me wrong, I've fucking absolutely fell into trends over the years. Of course I have, I'm human. But he was always like, be a little bit different. Be somebody else. Like, even your fashion or the way you're doing things, be a wee bit different. It's very difficult to do nowadays. I find like there's so many people doing so many different things. It's very difficult to be different. But yeah, my dad was always like, why would you want to be the same as everybody else? Like, always be a little bit different. So I've never been someone to like buy into labels or designer trends as such and things like that. So, you know, I've always been a bit like that. And I like watching people who aren't necessarily the same. They're little like, they're not cookie cutter. People may watch me and think, well, you're a bit fucking cookie cutter. That's fine, because as I've already said, there's only so much of yourself you put online. People probably watch this, if anybody knows me, they watch my YouTube, they might be like, that's nothing like what I know Alana is. And I don't mean I'm putting across a false version of myself. I just don't put all of myself across in my videos because I feel a little bit like you have to keep some things private, don't you? You just have to, and that's alright, you're allowed to do that. But I don't share absolutely everything. I'm not making out as if everything is absolutely perfect in my life, because it's absolutely fucking not. There's a lot of times, like, you're not going to put up, you know, if I'm doing a vlog, I'm not going to put up the bit of footage where Alan's saying to me, put the fucking camera down. Like, I'm shit. I'm fucking sick of seeing that camera. Like, I'm not going to put that up, because I don't want people to be able to chime in on my very personal relationship. It's just easier to be a little bit more flat and not really do anything like that. So I like watching people who are funny, realistic, just talk about the makeup, and that's kind of what I was alluding to in my last Get Ready With Me. But then I actually watched it back and I thought, oh god, people are going to think I'm like, you know, beauty YouTubers should only talk about makeup and not have an opinion on anything. That's not really what I was getting at. I just mean, if you're going to constantly be talking about politics and maybe, I don't know, political views or very important like subject that you feel very strongly on, and you're not really talking about makeup anymore, but that's why I started watching you, then I find I might shy away from it. Or if, like Hiram, I feel like I'm kind of being told what to do or not to do. I don't like that. I don't like being told what not to do. I don't really know anybody who does, unless you're some sort of like masochist's the other way, isn't it? Like, if you're not, what is it, dominant and something else, if you're the person that takes the dominance, I can't remember what it is. Shows you how much I learned watching 50 Shades of Grey. Subservient, is that it? yeah, if you're like the kind of subservient type person, maybe you like to be being told what to do. And the funny thing is, I don't really like a lot of responsibility. I don't really like in work, if I've got to be in charge, I'm not into that, and I probably wouldn't go for a managerial role. Simply because I don't like that kind of responsibility, but equally I don't like being told what to do. It works great. Now that green is actually really nice as a all over lid colour, but I'm wondering if I can do something a little bit fancier today, seeing as we're going back to the old school of the way I used to do my makeup. We'll see how I get on with that. Yeah, so I kind of just like watching people who are fun. People who talk about the makeup and are fun and not too serious and not fucking selling me something all the time as well. I feel like that's really important, because I feel like there's a lot of people in this industry now who get sent things and then they'll just be like talking about it because they've been sent it, and I think that's a lot of shite too. And I feel like Michaela's someone who's always very honest and says, you know, I've been sent this and I didn't like it, or I've been sent this and, you know, would I buy it if I hadn't been sent it? Maybe not, but now that I've tried it I can like it. Or even like, I've liked it but I still wouldn't spend my own money on it. And I feel I'm a little bit like that too. I'm very different from Michaela, I'm honest with you, but that's the kind of people I like to watch. I started watching, is it Bailey Sarian? Thanks Kim. Because she was saying like, this is a girl that does, or this is a woman, sorry, that does her makeup and talks about true crime. Now if anybody knows me, sorry I've got an eyelash, sitting right there, look at the little fucker. Yeah, if anybody knows me, then you will probably know I love true crime. It's stuff I love to watch on Netflix. I listen to my favourite murder podcast. I love everything about true crime, and she also talks about things like cults and stuff as well, so I've been absolutely fucking binge watching that woman. And actually, because she is a little bit more like alternative of what I remember growing up, going to the cat house and stuff like that, I love her makeup looks too. I think they're great. They're probably not things that I would wear every day now, but I really like them. I also really like watching people who reuse palettes. Like, I'm using this palette, it's obviously a palette from last year or the year before, whenever it was launched. And I'm fully expecting not to get a lot of views, not because I've a very, 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 very small YouTube channel in a massive pond, but also because I feel like people will be like, oh, that came out last year. I've seen shitty reviews on that already. I don't need to see any more shitty reviews on that. But, like, you know, if I get a makeup palette, I'm going to use it consistently. I'm not going to buy a new one every week. I think people nowadays as well, especially, again, in the kind of younger generation, and it's almost like fast fashion. You get fast makeup now as well, don't you? And people will go out and buy a new palette every time and not actually check what they've got at home before they go out and do that. And I have been guilty of doing that, absolutely. Okay, so that's that green. It's very frosty, I'm not gonna lie. But see, when I was younger, it was all about frost, and you know, I think we'll maybe go there with this palette. That doesn't bother me too much. Will I try a cut crease? It's something I'm not very good at. Should I give it a bash? So yeah, I have really been enjoying Bailey Sarian. I think I'm saying her name right. I want to go on with like a copper on the top or something, or do I want to go on with Big Sky? That's the really aqua coloured one. Do I want to go on the top with that? Because it's super frost, it's like frost upon frost. But I feel a little bit like that might be where I want to take this, frost upon frost. I'm going to go in with a bit more brown in the corner, just to deepen up that corner, and then I might put frost right on the lid. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So, at the moment, do we feel like skincare is becoming the new thing? I could probably say I think I do. Being because, you know, I started that skincare series, and I have said this before, like, I am not a skincare expert. Please do not watch my videos and think it's the be all and end all. I would prefer those videos are a discussion and like, well, this is what I do. How do you guys see it? Yes, here is some information I found, but have you found different? I would prefer that. And I think things should be a discussion. With all topics, I think things should be a discussion. It shouldn't just be a matter of like, this is this and that is that. As I've said already, there's too many variances in life to just believe that that is the be all and end all and this is the be all and end all. I was looking for a really stiff brush there to try and put this kind of aqua colour on with. this could go terribly wrong. Ooh, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I feel like so far these shadows are not as vibrant as I remember Urban Decay being, but as I'd said, like, did I say it in this video or did I say it in another one? I think I might have said it in this one. I feel like there's a lot of really good makeup brands. I follow Trend Mood over on IG, and I think that IG makes me sound like such a dick, doesn't it? On Instagram. And I think that, to be honest with you, there's a lot of really cool things coming out elsewhere. And here in the UK, I feel like we're a little bit behind. Although I know Boots is really stepping its game up and getting a lot of brands in, it feels like it's all brands from 2 years ago across the pond, if I'm honest with you. And the people that I've been watching recently talk a lot about really cool indie brands, and they're brands that I would really like to give a go, but I just don't see it. Like, a lot of them don't ship internationally, a lot of them kind of don't even come to the UK. Unless I knew somebody in America that was willing to send me them, I'm kind of like, don't know how I would get my hands on them, which is a bit depressing, because I would rather give my money to a smaller business than these massive corporate companies, if I'm honest with you. And that's not because I'm like, oh, super duper eco-friendly guy, but you know, it's partly to do with that being different thing. Like, I want to get something that people don't have. I want to get like something different, and I like small indie brands for that. But like, BH Cosmetics had out some sort of ice cream cone palettes or something like that, and to be honest with you, I was like, oh, they look pretty cool, because they were in that monochrome style that Colourpop was doing a while ago. You know, they released about 40 million palettes, and they were all different monochromatic shades. And the reason I didn't buy into that was because I'm not a fucking collector. I'm not a Pokemon collector. Like, I don't need to catch them all. I want something which I've got a bit of variation on. But equally, that some of the colours that was in those BH Cosmetic palettes looked amazing, and they were really relatively affordable, and I thought, oh, I would maybe pick up 1 or 2 of them, but they're not here. And BH Cosmetics is in Boots, but they're not here in the UK, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not paying the shipping for it. It annoys me. I should maybe go into Beauty Bay and see if they've got it. I'm not sure. This is becoming very smoky, shimmer on shimmer cat house a la 2007. But I don't mind it. If people are watching this, they're like, what the fuck is the cat house? Is that weird program that used to be on and it was some sort of brothel in America? Yes, it was that, but it was also, and it is also, I should say, a nightclub in Glasgow, which is for like heavy metal, goth / pop punk, alternative scene people. And that's where I used to go when I was younger. Although I went in December as a lady in her 30s. And I thought, my god, I'm so old, because I didn't even really know any of the bands that were playing, and I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't be in here. How do you feel about that though? Do you like watching overproduced stuff? I mean, that girl, Bailey Sirian, she's got really, not overproduced, that's not very kind, just like really produced stuff. And that's not something I tend to like watching, but I enjoy her because she's actually really interesting to talk to. And obviously there are other people that I watch who have quite overproduced or produced stuff that's really obvious. Oh, that's maybe a little dark. Just gonna try and blend that out a wee bit. Yeah, really like produced stuff. And actually, I don't mind watching them because they're interesting to watch. But one of the reasons, again, why I like watching some of the British YouTubers is because they don't have that overproducing. They don't have like a drop screen at the back, and they're very much just like the people you were watching years ago who, you know, they just put their makeup on and talk to you while they're doing it. I think so much has changed in the last 10 years with regards to YouTube and influencers and the beauty community as such. But I do believe that the community is still there, because I've met loads of lovely people through doing this, and on Instagram as well, like people that I would go out and have a drink with. But I don't want to seem as if I'm like some sort of naive prick that doesn't know that there's fucking arseholes out there. So far, I'm rather enjoying this palette, and I think it got really bad write-up and really bad reviews. And maybe that's just a testament to the fact that we've got shittier brands here in the UK. Because people will be like, oh my god, you can get so much cheaper for such better quality in America and things like that. And I'm like, well, you don't hear, unless it's like Revolution or something. And actually, I seen a few people talking about Revolution and they were like, oh, the shadows are shit. And actually, I must have just been really lucky, because any of the Revolution palettes I've used, I've found have been really, really good. So I can't say that. Alright, I'm just gonna line my tight line with this one. It's from NYX. Because I feel like with this really heavy eye look, it needs to have some tight line. I very rarely like waterline with black, because I think my eyes, like, it makes it look a little bit more open. But what I'm going to take is this intense colour from Kiko. It's a green colour, as you can see. I might put that here just to tie things in a bit. Ooh, I quite like the green in the waterline. I've got terrible fall down here from these shadows. I'm going to have to rectify that. 2 seconds. I know a lot of people would say that's why you should put your foundation on after. But I think I mentioned this before, like, it's just not what I do. I always do my foundation and then do my eye stuff after. I know. I'm old school, I'm a bit stupid, but it's kind of what I do. Now, I'm not going to put any lashes on with this because I rarely wear lashes nowadays, but I'm going to put loads and loads of mascara on and just curl my lashes. Do you know what else I was thinking about as well? I would really like to know more about kind of black-owned beauty companies that are within the UK. Because again, I think there's quite a lot in America and internationally, and I've heard about the odd one or two that we can get here as well. But I mean, like, local to the UK. And to be honest with you, probably not for foundation stuff. I know that's probably going to be a big part of it to help people of colour who've been like left out in the cold for all these years. But I feel like I don't really wear foundation, so I wouldn't be looking to a brand for that reason. I'd be looking to a brand for shadows, lips, maybe some highlighters, and again, having really fair skin, like, I don't need a heavy deep highlighter. Bronzers maybe. I was so disappointed with that Fenty Beauty bronzer, I couldn't believe it. And I feel shit that I was so disappointed with it, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of put me off the brand a wee bit. And then I'm like, well, at the end of the day, even though I agree with all the stuff that they say, they're still a really big, like, corporate company. Is there a brand that I could be using that are a bit more kind of niche and a little bit more like that we're a small beauty company and we're black owned, or we're not owned by a big umbrella company and things like that? Like, if people know of these little niche companies, please fucking gonna let me know, because I've clearly been living in a bit of a bubble with beauty for a while. Because years ago I'd have been able to tell you, do you know who they had on that Look Fantastic website the other day? Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics, OCC. Does anybody remember the OCC lip tars? Fuck me, like, that was old school, like really old school. I remember Leisha from X-Sparkage talking about them and me getting them sent over from the US like 10-12 years ago, and I thought they were amazing. They were like the first liquid lips, if that's what you want to say. But like niche little brands like that you used to get years ago, is there anything in the UK that I could get here that are similar? Alright, so we're going to put on some bronzer now as well. It is a new one on me, but not a new one by any means. And I'm talking about niche brands, and then I bring out this. It's NARS. I actually have never tried the Laguna bronzer, and again, the reason I picked this up was because it's a miniature, so if I don't like it, but it's a miniature and look at the size of it. That for me is massive. That's going to do me ages. But it's Laguna bronzer. Bronzer. Oh, my fucking words are shit now. But Laguna bronzer, and I thought, well, give me that. Let me have a bash. Seeing as the Fenty one I didn't like and I didn't get on with. Let me see how this goes. I prefer a bronzer, I've said it a million times before, that's gonna be a bit redder than it is orangey. And I think Laguna looks orangey, but might give me that burnt effect that I look for. Burnt effect, how terrible is that? And I like going quite ham with my bronzer. I like going quite heavy-handed with it, because at the end of the day, if the sun was hitting me, it's going to be hitting all these areas. It's not just going to contour my face. So it's not about contouring for me, it's about giving me that sun-kissed look. feel like at the moment, see the UK type bloggers, the beauty bloggers, whatever you want to call them, they've kind of dropped off the radar a wee bit, haven't they? I feel like a lot of them, especially like the ones that are ages with myself, not so much the young ones, but a lot of them have kind of just dropped off the radar and maybe went to start families and things, and you know, that's all fair and well, but dropped off the radar a little bit and been like more lifestyle stuff, more what I eat in a day type thing, and that's fine too. Like, I don't mind that. I want to keep my channel. That's why I named it Altogetheralanna. I know that seems a bit cheesy, but the reason I named it that is because I want it to be all together, the things I'm into, even though the majority of it is skincare, beauty, fashion type things, I know, but I just thought I would include everything so that I didn't want to like fucking wedge myself into a certain thing. And I know a lot of people would say, well, that's probably what you need to do to be successful, but for me that's not what this is about. I just like doing it as my hobby. Now, that bronzer, don't fucking hate it. Don't fucking hate it. Slight orangey look here, that's probably my terrible blending, but I don't fucking hate it. I think my battery's gonna run out soon. I'm gonna have to be quick. I've been fanning about for ages today, but it's a dull day, a dreek day, and I just thought I'm gonna sit and have a wee chat with everybody, as usual. So, I might have to change my battery quickly. I probably should put a little bit of pencil through my brows, but I can't be bothered, if I'm honest with you. So I'm just putting the e.l.f. Wow brow through it, and that's what I like, and I like having the big bushy brows. Do you know what I love at the moment on Instagram? There seems to be a real movement of women who are just doing like less makeup like this, less like full glam makeup, just everyday natural makeup, which I've really been enjoying, because I think like a lot of the time this is fun and great and grand, but this isn't something I would wear every single day. This is something I would maybe wear, probably something I would wear if I was on holiday, because it's quite bronzy, but also like the khaki green. I like the brown eyes, the brown hair and khaki green. I like that. It's cool. It makes me feel like I'm a lot sexier than I actually am. But I feel like on Instagram just now there's a lot of like just really simple skin, which I think a lot of people are not going to like, because they're going to be like, well, if you've got problematic skin, you can't just put a wash on your face. Like, I get that as well. Like, there's going to be people who are like, this totally isn't for me. I'm going to use my Burt's Bees All Glow Stick. Look, it's been used to within an inch of its life, but we're going to finish this one off before I open the new one. I think if I was to play with this palette again, I might go for purples, probably. I just don't do so much colour anymore because it's not something I wear in my everyday life. It's not because I don't fucking like colour. And that's one of the problems, because when I go on holiday, it's probably when I want to use colour most. But then I kind of have to take about 40 million palettes with me, and you don't want to do that when you're travelling. You can't be arsed with it. I feel like this would be a palette that I would definitely travel with though. I feel like you could get a lot of different kind of looks out of this palette. I'm just going to line my lips, and then I'm going to put on Guilty Girl from Beauty Pie, because it's a really nice kind of 90s brown, I want to say. I think it'll go. If it doesn't, we'll wash it off and we'll do something else. Okay, so that, do we think that's too pink for this look? Oh, potentially a little too pink. I'm going to pop a little lip oil over the top and see if that changes the matter. It's just the e.l.f. lip oil in Nude Kiss, so I'm just going to put that on over the top, because I feel like this is just a little bit too pinky. Alright, so that was fun. This is yeah, I quite like this look actually. It's very dark and sultry, dark and brooding, which I used to think I was, but now I'm just a basic bitch. But no, I quite like that. I quite like the pop of like the aqua green on the top as well. I think that's quite nice. So far, I think this palette's okay. So far, I think this palette I would travel with. Would I have rushed out and bought it when it first came out? No, obviously not, because I didn't do that. But I think I would definitely use like a lot. I think I would definitely get a lot of use out of this though. I don't think I wouldn't pick it up. I'm wondering like what subtle, this is very dark and deep. I'm wondering if they play well together though. Like if I put this, which is on the corners at the moment, with this one, is that going to play well? Because like there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mats? 6 mats. And I think, you know, is gone a matte as well? It looks more like a satin. But it's kind of like, will they play together well? Will they look nice together? That's my concern, and I think that's just because I'm a bit shit with makeup, if I'm honest with you. I've kind of lost my touch over the years. But yeah, no, I think that's quite nice. As I say, the skin thing, I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure how I feel about the skin thing, but this, I'm glad I've picked up. I think it's really nice, and I would absolutely definitely like travel with it. The mirror is huge as well, look. Wow. So I hope that's given you a little insight into this, and if you fancy, you can go and pick it up cheaper than when it first came out last year. But in all seriousness, just to round this off, if there are any kind of indie brands or like UK brands or brands that you can get your hands on without paying a fucking mountain full of tax from getting them from the US, or is it customs tax? Yeah, things like that. Laura Hull, I watched Laura Hull, and whenever she used to order from Colourpop, it would be like her and 4 other women from her work would make a massive order and then just split the custom tax, and I was like, that's a great idea, but I don't have that many pals because, you know, I'm a sado. But if anybody else thinks like, oh no, like you should look into this, you should look into that, let me know, because I would be really interested to try smaller brands. I don't want to always be talking about like high-end shit on here, or like really big things. And then there's part of me that's like, well, I like to talk about things you can get in Boots, because a lot of people that might be watching might be from the UK, but you know, I can't get my hands on a lot of stuff. And as I say, when I was a real YouTube addict 10 years ago, I used to get things sent across because I knew people in America, and those friendships have just kind of dwindled over the years. I can't believe how dark it has got now. It is 4:30 and it is almost like a winter's day out there. I can't believe it. But for that reason, I'm going to sign off for now. I am hoping to do a little new makeup nonsense bingo. As I said, I've seen Teresa and Emily from Emily Han do these videos, and they are fucking hilarious. So that is my plan, to get one of them done. But usually you have to sit and have a drink, or like it's one of those drinking games slash a bingo game slash a bit of a shade game. So for that reason, I'm not going to be doing it on a Tuesday afternoon. I'll maybe save it till this Friday, because I'm off this Friday, but then I'm working on Saturday. Being back on shifts, oh, my body does not know what to do with itself. But we will get one filmed, I promise. This will just keep us tiding over just now, and I'll see you all again soon. Hope you've enjoyed. Bye.